So, good day, everyone. So, good morning, mabuhay, and blessed be God forever. Or maybe I can say good evening or good afternoon on whatever day you are watching this video, okay? So, again, welcome to science class. And again, I am teacher Jazz or Miss Jazz, your science teacher, okay? So, what's for today in science? Okay, so for today, again, we're going to have our review of the previous lesson that we had. Then we're going to also have our discussion, review activity number one, and review activity number two. Okay, so for our review for today, let us review or look back on the previous lesson that we had. You still remember the previous lesson that we had in science? Okay, exactly. Yes. Our previous lesson is entitled Typhoon. Okay. And as we go on in our discussion last time, we talked about how typhoon can affect the lives of other people. We gave some information about it. And we also talked about the intensity or the signals or how typhoon is being created or how it passes by in our country. Okay, so since we already know about typhoon, okay, and we're done with the review, we will now go on the discussion of our new and last lesson for second part three in science. Okay, okay, so what is our lesson or discussion for today? Okay, still our discussion is still connected on our previous lesson. Okay, as what I told you a while ago. Okay, we also talk about the effects of typhoon, right? But for today, okay, in our lesson, we are going to focus more of the effects of this typhoon and the precautionary measures that we need to consider. Okay, so first of all, when we say precautionary measures, okay, what do we mean about this? Do you have an idea? Okay, so maybe you are thinking when we say precautionary, these are the prevention, okay, or the things that we need to do when we are experiencing typhoon or before we experience typhoon or after we experience typhoon, okay, or the effect of the typhoon. So again, the title of our lesson for today in science is the effects of typhoon and precautionary measures. Okay, don't forget that. Can you repeat? Say effects of typhoon and precautionary measures. Okay, very good. Okay, so now let us go on to the first part of this lesson. Okay, so let us now know the extensive damage in the environment, lives, and properties when there is a tropical cyclone or typhoon. So first, okay, it destroy houses and buildings. Yes, exactly, especially if it is a super typhoon. Okay, so as you watch news or any articles or news in the newspaper or in anything any media, okay, we experience especially Cagayan, Rizal, Marikina, and Bicol experience a typhoon, a very hard typhoon, okay, a very strong typhoon, I mean, last November, right? This is Typhoon Rolly and Typhoon Ulysses. So, on their area, houses are being destroyed, okay, because it was really affected by the typhoon. Also, it interrupts telecommunication and power lines. What does it mean? So, um, if you remember, okay, those times that there are typhoons, some schools or actually our schools have suspension of classes. Why? Because there are interruptions in telecommunications. The signals are not good, okay, especially for the internet, and some power lines are interrupted. We had blackout, brownout like that. Okay. Next, it destroy high stem crops, okay, and cause premature threshing of rice and wheat and fall of fruits. That's true. Okay, so they really affected the plants, the farm, and everything. Okay, the lands of the farmers. They really affect, or they really had an extensive damage on that environment or property. Okay. Okay. Next. What else? So, landslide may bury homes, buildings, and farmlands. Yes, because there is, okay, a bank rupture and floods, and likewise, a saturation of soil that may cause collapse of mountains slope. So that's why there's a landslide. Okay, you know landslide. This is the breaking of the land, the highland. Okay, because the soil becomes soft. Okay, since it is saturated or being soiled with water. Okay, that's why there's landslide or collapse of the mountain slopes. Okay, so those are the extensive damage in the environment, lives, and properties. Okay, of typhoon. Okay, now let us go on what we call storm surge. What is storm surge? So it is the unusual rise in seawater level caused by a storm's winds pushing water on shore. So it's like a tsunami, okay? But okay, at first the seawater will rise up, okay? And this is a very unusual rise of the seawater, okay, seawater level. And since there's a rise up of the seawater level, it may cause a storm, okay? It may cause a storm wind pushing water onshore. What does it mean? So, as you observe on the beach, okay, as you observe, okay, the what do you call it? The sun there is being seen if the seawater is on a balanced level or normal level. But if there are storm surge, okay, it may affect or it may push through the onshore or the sands. Okay, and that is storm surge. The storm winds is pushing the water to go on the shore. Okay? Okay. So what's the effect of this storm surge? Okay, it will cause widespread and serious flowing in coastal areas. Yes, it may affect the land areas, and gradual erosion of the coast leads to disasters. That's correct because of the floods and anything that may affect the different things. It may really affect. Okay, it may really affect the storm surge will really affect it. Okay. Okay, next. Now, we are going to go on the tips to remember before, okay, before really say before, bago, okay, bago mangyari, during, kasalukuyang nangyayari, and third, after, or pagkatapos ng tropical cyclone or ng typhoon. Okay, again, we are going to focus on the tips to remember before, bago, during, kasalukuyan, and after, pagkatapos ng tropical cyclone or typhoon. Okay? So what are these? Okay, so what are you going to do before the typhoon? So first, it's important to monitor weather reports. Why? Okay, we have our cell phones, we have our television, we have our radio, like that. So we need to monitor weather reports so that we may know what to do. Okay, we can do number two. We can make a plan which everyone in the family will follow when needed. Okay, since you are monitored with the weather reports, you can make a plan. Okay, then afterwards, if you have a plan, you can include preparing a or an emergency or first aid kit. That is very important. Bandage, alcohol, band-aid, cotton, okay, medicines. That's very important. Okay, and lastly, help your family check and fix your house for any damage. If you observe that your house, okay, has leak on the the ceiling area, okay, you must fix it right away before the storm or the typhoon comes in. Okay? Because it may really affect your house. Okay? So those are the things that you need to remember before typhoon or tropical cyclones. Now, let us go on to the things that you need to do during, okay? Kasalukuyan during a typhoon. First, you need to stay calm, alert, and focused. Why? Don't panic because if you panic, you cannot think properly. You need to stay alert only, calm yourself, relax, and stay focused on what's happening. Second, why do you need to stay calm, alert, and focused? So that you can still monitor the weather reports. Okay? Because if you are not focused, you cannot put in mind what's the weather reports already. You cannot monitor if there are flood reports and predictions of another storm surge or typhoon that will come. Okay? And fourth, why do you need to also stay calm? For you to monitor weather reports and flood and predictions. And likewise, you can move your family on a safer place. Okay, if you are alert and focused, you can bring them on a more safer place or a safer place. Okay, That's why you need to stay calm, alert, and focus. Don't panic, okay? Because if you are ready, if you had planned, okay, before the typhoon, you can be able to stay calm and move your family on a safer place, okay? Don't forget that. And likewise, don't forget your pets if you have your pets and the most valuable things that you need to keep, especially papers, okay, or documents, okay? And lastly, we have the things that you need to do after a typhoon. Okay, what are these? First, be sure that the buildings or house is safe and stable before you enter. So during a typhoon, if you are going to move your family on a safer place, make sure that the building or house is stable and safe. Also, you need to wear slippers, shoes, or other footwear for protection from any sharp or pointed objects that might have fallen. That is very important. So as to prevent accidents, okay, and other hazards, okay. Next, stay away from flood waters. Yes, that's very important, especially on running flood water, okay. If even it's really raining hard, please stay away from flood waters. And also clean and clear everything damaged by the typhoon. Exactly, because it may also affect your health, okay. So those are the things that you need to understand when it comes on the effects of typhoon. Okay, and the precautionary measures that you need to remember. Okay, so do you have any questions? Okay, if you have questions, you can still message Miss Jazz, okay, or your advisor to clarify some questions or information. Okay, we will answer right away. Okay, and if you don't have questions, okay, as what we are doing every synchronous classes, after our review discussion, we will have a review activity number one and number two. So on this video, again, as just what we are doing before from the previous lesson, okay, you can use your whiteboard or a paper. You can pause this video when you are on this part. You just read each statement carefully, or you will ask your parents or guardians to help you um, reach its statement for you. Then you need to answer the following if the tips are to remember before, during, or after a tropical cyclone. Okay, so here are the following questions. So that's the first one. Okay, there's an answer. Okay, you can pause it for each item. Okay, you can pause the video for each item for you to be able to read it properly. Then, if you want to check the answer, there's the answer. Okay, number three. Okay, number four. I think we have 10 items here. Number five. Number six. Okay, for number six, you need to choose the letter of the correct answer. Again, write it on your whiteboard or your paper. Okay? So for number six, okay. And number 7 to 10, draw one representation of an extensive damage of typhoon in our environment, lives, and properties. Okay, so that is for review activity number one. Also, if you haven't answered your module from page 76, review activity number one, please answer it. Okay? And that's it for this video. Since we're done with the review, the discussion, and review activity number one and number two. Okay? So if you have questions, please message us. Okay? Please message us. Please message me if you have questions. Okay, so again, let me remind you to please answer your module for your asynchronous class. Miss Jazz and your advisor will send it to your group chat. Okay, so I hope that you feel good or feel love or happy and surprised with the information that you had. And whenever you feel sad or not upset, you can message Miss Jazz so that we can be able to talk about it. Okay, so I think that's it. Okay. I think it's now time for me to say goodbye. Thank you so much for participating. Have a nice day, and please always keep safe and healthy. Okay? So bye.